how do we measure progress with this Louisville team?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if those last minutes of that game, the defense that we saw translates now when they come out and play again. That's the immediate thing that you look for. But I'm kind of intrigued. Their final 4 games of the season, 3 of which are at home, are against teams they've already played. So that gives us an apples to apples kind of comparison. Now that Virginia Tech is one of those teams, and they played them at more or less full strength or a lot fuller strength. I think earlier in the season it was their first ACC game, and they actually played well and led in that game for a good bit. So that, we can look and see how they look defensively, how they look offensively against these teams to judge progress. But there's no question the eye test shows the lights coming on for some guys. Caleb Glenn has a double-double. The freshmen are all playing really well. They make mistakes. I mean, that's the thing. That's what freshmen do, and they're going to continue to do that. Trey White, defensively, we've been kind of down on his defense all year. He has started to rebound a little more at times. He's scoring big. And Sky Clark is kind of an enigma. Sometimes he looks really good, and he's starting to look good for longer stretches, which I think is important for them. So I feel like they're getting better. I know they're not playing as good a teams as maybe they played to start the conference season, but I think we're going to be able to look at these last games and kind of see what, because look, if they go in the ACC tournament, they could actually, I think, can they play their way out of that first day of the tournament still? That'd be one way to gauge progress. Yeah.
I'm not sure in terms of it all. And right now they're currently tied for the bottom 3 spots in the league, I think, with Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. And they got a home game with Notre Dame so they could separate from them. 2 of the last 3 games, they've had tremendous balance. They had 4 guys in double figures against Florida State. They had 6 guys in double figures against Georgia Tech. Let's not forget, they could have won the Syracuse.
Yeah,
they could be on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
They didn't win it. They've had a couple of those games this year that didn't go their way. They've had a couple that did go their way. I know that. So that usually balances out over the course of the season. But I think individually, if you look at the players, more of them have gotten better. Brendan Huntley-Hatfield has certainly got better. He's one of the better front court players, I'd say, in the ACC. He can shoot the ball. He can post up. Caleb Glenn has become a force, defensively and around the rim, rebounding the ball. Ty-Laur Johnson gives them a different look. But you got to finish it off. Of these next 7, I think they need to win 4 of them to really convince some people that they've made progress.
Yeah, and you want to see defensive progress. They've obviously worked some things out offensively, and they're playing pretty well from that standpoint. Now, what do you do with how do you play defense? What is your rotation? It's a fairly short bench. You don't have a ton of guys, but do you have a stable looking rotation? Do they start to look like a team that knows what they want to do, that has a good feel for it? I feel like Kenny Payne looks like he has more command of these players with every game. So that's something to be said in their favor. And I think all of that bodes well. We just have to see, so much of it hinges on results. You can catch every episode of Overtime on WDRB+.
Download the app on your phone or TV today.